Hey guys, it's Scott with Scotty B Cards, and in this video I want to talk about CSG and their new slab reveal. So there's some actual big news with CSG. They're making moves. I like what they're doing. They're adapting to what the market wants, and they are giving us essentially what we've been asking for. CSG came into the hobby a year or two ago, and their slabs were relatively ugly. I think that's the biggest thing. I liked who they were. They were a really strong company with really strong backing, but their slab was green. It was green, and the flip took up a lot of the space relative to the card. The slab itself was relatively the same size as others, but it just looked proportionally off. But now they have a new design. They introduced this new design. Is basically a black and gold with white slab, and I think it looks really good. It looks relatively similar to SGC in some ways to me, but overall I like what they're doing. They also are not allowing subgrades anymore, which is an interesting take from a company like CSG, but it's because according to the press release they released, it was due to the fact that only 20% of people were actually asking for subgrades. And so they didn't think the demand was worth it, and not having subgrades will actually help them with their turnaround times to get out quicker and overall have consistency across all their slabs. If you look at BGS, they have these subgrades in all their slabs, but every once in a while you'll see a slab with no subgrades. And you always wonder like, I wonder what the person who graded that was hiding that they didn't want people to see with subgrades. And BGS has been pushing for subgrades to be kind of taken away as well, and it's just never caught on because they've been around for so long. But CSG is in a new situation where they're able to do this and make this big change. So far again, they have a new label that makes their cards look much better in their slab, and they are taking away subgrades. The next thing that they are also doing is they are changing their grading scale. When I say changing their grading scale, they're grading the same. They're going to be grading in the same sense that they're going to be thorough and strict, but the way they're representing their grades is different. It's very similar to SGC. They're going to have a 10 as the gem mint instead of the 9.5 as the gem mint. Before, CSG had a 9.5 grade like BGS and HGA did, representing 9.5 is gem mint. Anything above a 9.5 was like pristine, for example. While with PSA and SGC, their 10 is the gem mint grade. PSA actually doesn't even have a grade above a gem mint. It's just the gem mint, which again is equivalent in this grader's eyes to a 9.5 from BGS, a 9.5 from CSG, and a 9.5 from HGA, and a 10 from SGC. But now PSA doesn't have anything higher. SGC has always had a gold label 10 above their gem mint grade, and BGS and HGA and SGC, their 10 was higher than a gem mint. It was a pristine grade. But now it's different, and they're actually going to have 10 be gem mint just like PSA and SGC, and they're still going to be offering a 9.5 just like SGC, which is actually really good because they're offering a 9.5. There's cards that aren't gem mint, but they're definitely better than mint. They're right in that middle ground, and SGC was the only one who did this, but now we have CSG doing it as well, where they give a 9.5 grade for that middle ground. So what does this mean? It's a big deal. In my eyes, it's a big deal for BGS. BGS, I really want them to succeed because they're my favorite grading company in terms of the way the slab looks and the protection of the card, but they're just being passed. They need to have a redesign in the same sense where they need to make the gem mint grade a 10 for BGS, but that takes away some of the equity that they have with BGS 10s and the value that brings. They're in a really hard spot because now we have two grading companies, CSG and SGC, who have a 9.5 grade that is not on par with BGS's 9.5 grade according to each's grading standards. And so they're getting devalued compared to a 10 simply because of their numeric system. And it's really tough because we're always wanting the 10. Whatever company you're sending to, you want that 10 because it makes it more liquid and more valuable, and BGS is lacking that. I think this news is just as big for CSG as it is for BGS in the sense they're getting passed again. And seriously kudos to CSG for making this change. I never would have graded with CSG because I didn't like the label, and their 9.5 didn't bring all that much money, and their 9.5 was actually hard to get, and so I never graded with them. But now that they have a 10 and their label looks respectable, I might not grade for a little bit as I see how it plays out, but I would not be afraid to buy their cards in their slabs. Before I never would have. But now I'm actually open to it. So it's an interesting move for them, and I think it's actually going to help them. CSG's already made moves with the eBay authentication program. They're the company that authenticates every card over a certain dollar number, and it feels like now that they're going to become more popular, they'll eventually institute the ability to grade the card automatically with CSG. Just my thoughts. There's nothing behind that, but it would not surprise me one bit. Future Scott here. So generally speaking, when these news videos happen, I try to get the video out as quick as I can, just because it's timely and it's good for you guys to see that information. But this time I got stuck late at work today, so I didn't have a chance to edit anything, but that gave me the opportunity to see other people's thoughts. All my thoughts, all my perspective was all positive because I'd never submitted to CSG before. But there's a lot of people who've submitted to CSG in the past and have liked their slabs and have collected their slabs that are now asking the questions, what happens to our slabs? Can we send them in? And a 9.5, which is gem mint, and they'll give it a 10 gem mint automatically because that's what's considered the gem mint grade. It should be equal cards. They shouldn't have to regrade it because that doesn't make sense. Is there going to be a cost associated with that? Are all the cards in these other slabs going to be valued less now that there's a 9.5 gem mint and the new scale is a 9.5 is a mint plus, not the same grade whatsoever? It will completely devalue the cards value for those gem mint grades. It raises a whole bunch of questions, as you can see from this Twitter post I have right here. So that's one question that will need to be answered, and I think CSG, based off of what I've seen, will do a good job. Maybe it's $5 to get it re-slabbed, which still kind of sucks. You have to send it in, wait, get it re-slabbed, get it back, but it will help resale value getting the 10 gem mint card versus the 9.5 gem mint card since that grading scale changed. I talked about BGS earlier in this video, and I think this is the main reason why BGS won't ever change. It's too late for them. It's been 20 years. We see a 2-year switch or even a 1.5-year switch for CSG that's a little confusing. Can you imagine if BGS had to re-slab every 9.5 graded card from the past as a BGS 10 gem mint? If they were to change it per se, it would just be really confusing, really hard, and just make the resale value extremely convoluted. So overall, that's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's just the negative side, I would say. My thoughts are generally positive because I never graded with them. People who've graded with the CSG in the past, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below what you guys all think about this change, and other than that, I'll catch you in the next video.